See Home Club for details.
Today, making an entrance into the DWS Morning Show, Jayme Ahlden, the president from the Champaign County Association of Realtors, joins me this morning. Good morning, Jayme. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to have you along this morning on this kind of cloudy Monday.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Well, you're quite welcome. We enjoy having you. Well, of course, the big news, I guess, as far as the real estate market goes, is that as far as the prime goes, we had some movement down on the interest rate last week. How is that going to translate on down into the local market as far as interest rates for real estate and so forth?
Great question. So 2 months ago, when I was here in late July, we talked about mortgage rates being in the mid 6% range and how affordability was still a challenge for many buyers. And now rates have dropped to right around 6%, which is the lowest in 3 years. And that has already made a noticeable difference in demand. So, local market snapshot for Champaign County. The median price of a home right now is $245,000, which is very stable. Our inventory is up slightly from the summer, and our days on market is 22. A year ago it was 36, so nearly 2 weeks faster. So the story is we have a market that's in transition. Buyers are gaining affordability, and sellers are still seeing strong demand.
So with that interest rate, we're seeing some movement, but the houses that are available aren't staying on the market quite as long then. I guess it's about a 10-day shorten up to about 2 weeks there is what you said.
Right, yeah. So to get back to the rate cut, so the Fed made its first rate cut since December of 2024, which was a quarter point, and signaled that there might be 2 to 3 more cuts this year. So here's some important context. Mortgage rates often move ahead of the Fed.
Okay.
So the markets anticipated the September rate cut, which is why mortgage rates had already kind of eased down to 6% before the Fed's official announcement. Future cuts may also be partly priced in early, but each step lower reinforces affordability and, consumer confidence. So the Fed has, as I said, signaled a couple more cuts by year end, and if those happen, mortgage rates could ease further. And I'd like to share the impact of that because for buyers, lower rates improve affordability. So on a $250,000 home, a 1% drop is equivalent to $150 to $200 less per month. And that's a big deal. Overall, this is becoming a balanced win-win market. Buyers have more purchasing power, and sellers still see the benefit from strong demand.
So with that said as well, the balance as well for the buyer and the seller, and mainly for the buyer right now, is do I get out there and go because 6%, we haven't seen that for a while.
Exactly.
And so we're like, okay, that's great. Maybe it is. And as you just pointed out, that can mean significant savings on a per month basis on your payment. So do I go ahead or do I take the chance and hedge my bet and wait for the interest rates to go down a little bit more? So the balancing act, even for the buyer, is, and with the homes selling quicker now, will that home still be available if I sit here and wait? So yeah. Yeah,
that is a great question. So let's get into that. If the Fed makes more cuts this year, we could see rates dip a little lower, maybe even into the high fives. And that would be a real affordability boost, especially for first-time buyers and renters trying to get in the market. And the National Association of Realtors estimates that 3 to 4 million more households are now eligible for mortgages with this recent rate drop. And so that, could bring more renters and first-time home buyers into the market as well. But your question, should buyers wait for rates to drop more? We kind of talked about this a little bit last time. Waiting can backfire. When rates fall further, more buyers jump in, and that pushes prices up. So if the numbers work today, it's smart to buy now and refinance later when rates drop again.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, is to go, don't miss out on the home you've been really wanting. And if you meet your needs and what you're looking for, and you're like, wow, this is it. At 6%, sounds like a good time to go ahead and you made a great point. Let's say we do happen to see again, I don't know whether we will or not, but let's say we do happen to see again those 3% rates that were out there. What was that, about 3-4 years ago, maybe 5? If we see some of that, then yeah, you can refinance and really gain the advantage. But for me, and our first home we purchased, we thought, in fact, it's still a home we live in. We thought 10 3/4 was fantastic.
Right, yeah.
That was in 1989. We were like, yes, we got to buy now. And then we turned around and refinanced a few years later at 7.5. And made a big difference for us. So I think your point is well taken there, is that 6% is great. And if you get the chance down the road to refinance, then that's even better.
Yes. And I'd like to make another point. People ask me, hey, are we headed for a crash? Is this like 2008? I get this question a lot.
Right.
And so I just want to share with our audience that what we're seeing locally is a very resilient market. Homes are still selling, prices are stable, and we're not seeing the kind of speculative lending that contributed to the last crash. It's a very different environment. And nationally, over 40% of homeowners own their homes outright. No mortgage at all. And nearly all others have significant equity. So that's a very strong cushion that makes, widespread foreclosures or a market crash very unlikely.
Okay, because that was a big question. It was, I would say 6-8 months ago, a year ago, a lot of talk, even in our own household, we were talking about, wow, is this going to have a negative effect, and where's this all going to go? But it sounds like we may have weathered that storm now of that possibility, yes. And we can continue on. So with the interest rates dropping, I know the last time we talked in July, of course, we had the problem was the first-time home buyer, that not having the interest rates were high, the home prices were high as well, and so that first-time home buyer they were having a little trouble finding inventory in their price range, interest rates, and even the people that might have been in their first-time home moving to a second home, they weren't moving either because of interest rates, and it kind of backed everything up. This will kind of loosen everything up, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, for sure. And we do think that this will be a real opportunity for, renters and first-time home buyers to, edge into the market.
Yeah, and I think that's important, too, because I think we've got a lot of young people on the sidelines that are like, I really want to buy my own home. But I just right now, I'm not at the time, I'm not going to pull the trigger. Well, now I think you're going to see a lot of first-time home buyers getting that opportunity to enter the market. And I think people that were in their first-time home that wants to move into maybe a bigger home or something with some better amenities in the home and so forth, and that opportunity, they're going to move up. So I really think that this is going to stimulate quite a little bit with the mortgage rates like they are.
Exactly, because while some sellers might not have wanted to trade their 3% interest rate for an 8%,
sure,
6% is more doable, especially when,
right.
If they've things can change in their family,
well, sure.
They have kids,
sure.
or whatever, outgrow homes. And so,
right.
So yes, we're hoping this will help stimulate some of that.
Now, as we get into the fall season, one question I do have as well, what does that do to the buyers and sellers market of real estate? When we get into the fall and winter months, do you see, it seemed like years ago there used to be a decrease just because in Illinois we're into the fall and winter and everybody's like, but I don't know whether that's the same anymore or not. Is there really a vast difference from spring and summer to fall and winter now in real estate?
Well, spring is still by far our busiest season. Mm-hmm. And I will say again that our area is very much in tune with the academic calendar, being a university town.
Sure.
But I will say it's funny because since COVID, I feel like there hasn't really been a lot of predictability with as far as, it's fall, things typically slow down. And
right.
then, it's really hard to predict. We haven't really had a quote unquote regular market
Gotcha.
For really since COVID. And so I think we're going to have a very busy fall market this year in particular.
Very good. So looking at past trends really won't do any good because it has changed a lot since COVID has moved through.
Yeah. And now I do think, at some point we will get back to having more seasonality.
Right.
But we really haven't had much of it past several years.
And then interest rates will probably help that too, not to be in that seasonal buying, selling pattern that we've had before.
Yeah, very much so.
Anything else you'd like to add before our time's up today?
Well, I think I just want to say, the bottom line is this. Rates are easing, Buyers are coming back, and sellers who prepare well are still seeing strong demand. So it really is a win-win for our community.
Very good. I believe you're exactly right. I think it is a win-win for everyone in our community, especially. And Jayme, I want to say, I guess you're winding down your tenure and your position and with the Champaign County Association of Realtors, and I've really enjoyed having you on a couple of times, and I'm hoping to continue that relationship with the new person that's coming in. And but thank you for sharing with us over the last couple months in a time when people were very unsure about what this real estate market was going to do. So.
It was my pleasure. And yes, I hope that you guys continue the conversation with Dina Gauze, who will be our new president, October 1.
Very good.
Awesome.
You. All right, very good. Jayme Ahlden has been our guest today on the DWS Morning Show from the Champaign County Association of Realtors. Sports coming up in just a moment.